And just because you hear the word spirit or shaman, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's coming from one emanation. There are many spirits. There are many spirits. And always remember that, excuse me, when it comes to spiritual food, that you are fed by what you're comprised of. You see, so if I'm comprised of something that's wicked and something that's perverse and something that's adulterated, and that's the ingredients that went into making me as a human, then I need those same constituents in order to continue to feed and go forward. So just like people who are created of confusion and disorder, they feed on confusion and disorder. Because what is your spiritual abstraction sitting on top of? That's the most important thing that everybody keeps skipping over. That's why a person can be a quote unquote shaman and still be a deviant, or be a priest or a priestess and still be a liar, or be a narcissist, or be a spiritualist, or whatever you want to call them, and still be a sociopath. That's why these things can happen, because the root character of these individuals are very rarely addressed. Once you say I'm spiritual, then that's used as a cloak to cover up all your nonsense. So you can walk around 10, 15 years talking about I'm spiritual, but have a horrible relationship with your family. I'm spiritual, but if somebody cuts you off in traffic, you cursing them out and going all crazy. Or I'm spiritual, but you can't agree to disagree with someone. You're trolling people on the internet and finding all different reasons and ways to express your discomfort that you have with life, but you're spiritual. You see, so that don't necessarily go by that so much, like I'm spiritual, or you're looking at this person as spiritual, because what spirit are they ministering for and ministering to? Is it the spirit of chaos? And now we get into something else. The reason it's angering you is because they're moving with more conviction about what they're doing than you're moving about what you're doing. That's why you're angry. Because they're out hustling you. That's why you're angry. I know I've said it before. Built Anything. That's the name of one of the podcasts I've done. What are you building? If you're not building anything, stop talking. I'm telling you, because a lot of times all that talking and that reaction it's coming from a seed of bitterness that you have inside of you. Something has happened. Maybe you caused something to happen, and now you're walking around bitter. So your whole thing is about tearing down what everybody else is doing, whether it's good or it's bad. And you have trolls like that on the internet. They got nothing else better to do but sit around all day, on these different social media platforms. And really, they're envious of what people have been able to build, and they're not able to build. Most of the time, you see, they don't have any following, right? And whatever following they have is usually because of some other reason. It's not really because of what they're talking about or what they're trying to get people to co-sign and get with. And sometimes they don't realize that, like they go around and they get blocked on all these different social media sites and get kicked out of all these different spaces, and they think it's because they have so much truth that everybody is blocking them. It's not because you have so much truth. It's because you're obnoxious and you're disrespectful and you're rude, and you're 9 times out of 10 you're not even making any sense, and you think that people are like you're talking over their heads, but it's not really that. You're really just being disruptive and distracting. That's a product of our own bitterness. Something, like I said, something has happened, or a lot of times we cause something to happen, and now we're bitter about it. So we're going around, we want to be, it's like Assassin's Creed. We're going around trying to assassinate everyone who's doing something that people are actually listening to and following. We got to assassinate them, and, you're wasting your time, because you should be building. If you got so much truth, and you can see so much, then you go build something yourself. So because we fall out of calibration and we fall out of alignment, and then we start seeing all this crazy stuff coming, now we're supposed to react to all the crazy. No, you better go back to the source and get back in alignment. And once you do that, I promise you, you will not have time to react with anger about what quote unquote they are trying to do, because you will remove yourself from the target of they. They are trying to turn Americanized blacks and whites, because this ain't really a color thing, but they're trying to turn Americanized folks a certain way. Yes. Well, don't identify with that. You have to leave Babylon first in thought before you do it physically.